personal branding in times of crisis. And what is all of this about? Well, basically, when we are talking about personal branding, sometimes people think that personal branding is about selling ourselves, which is not. It's about selling the value that we can give to others. Because your personal brand, it's about you, but it's not for you. It's for everyone that surrounds you, everyone that interacts you, from your friends, family, your clients, your business partners, your colleagues, your boss, whatever. It's about the way you make them feel when you interact with them. It's about the mark that you leave on their minds and their hearts, because you want to be remembered, but you also want to be remembered for the positive things, for the good that you make to them. So the things that you give to them, the value that you give to them. So personal branding sometimes is seen in the world as, I need to sell myself, I need to tell a story about myself, I need to say something that sometimes is not really true because I need to sell my skills. No, you need to be truthful. You need to be aligned with what you are, because a personal brand is all about your essence. It's about what you are. It's about how you speak, how you look to people, how you dress, how you say things. It's about all characteristics of your personality. It's something that you already have. But sometimes, and mostly on these times, we are not looking inside. We are trying to look as others. We try to follow others' models, and we forget that the most valuable assets that we have, it's ourselves, and the knowledge and the things that we can do, we can put by serving others with a price or not, depending on you want to sell the services or not. So what I want to understand also from you, and I will ask you to pick up your phone. You can pick up your phone. So in this masterclass, because I'm going to share with you a link, and I want to every each one of you to write down on the link I'm going to give you one word that describes you. And I will give you 1 minute for that. And I'm going to show the next slide, the link or the QR code if you want, but the link you need to access and to put inside that link your word, the word that describes you. And it starts right now. So the link, it's on top of the screen. It's pauleve.com, Nelson Emilio 388, and enter and write one word that describes you. And we'll start seeing the words appearing on the screen. So we have 40 seconds and no words yet. So enter on that link and use one word, only one, that could describe you. You can use also your browser if you want. So it doesn't need to be the pace setter. So we already have one. Resilience. Well, we have around 27 members in the call, so I'm waiting 25 more words in the next 10 seconds. Determines 6, 3, 2, 1, and well, there was no time. It was 1 minute, but well, we have here 4 words. If I could give you more, I will give you more time. But the idea was in pressure to find a word that describes you. And we have resilient, inspiring, determined, pace setter. So these are 4 words. Probably some of you already sent, but well, the system didn't get the answers on time, but probably other words. And my question to you is, are you applying this? Are you applying everything that you are in each interaction when you interact with someone? Does other people will use the same word to describe you? Probably yes, but probably no. And that's what I want to talk about. How can we work this? Because in times of crisis, the most important thing you can do is to be you. and to show everyone around you what is the value that you can give them. Why? Because one of the things we do is we act always based on intention. And everyone that is in this room will say the same thing. Yes, I act based on a specific intention, but we are judged not by the intention, but by the impact that we have on others. And the problem is that we are not aligning the impact and the intention. Sometimes, probably you or someone that you know already said, well, that was not my intention. My intention was to do or say this, but that was not what happened. That was not what happened, right? And why? Well, because we are not clear when we communicate things to others. Sometimes we are not even clear on our actions. And everything is about what we do to others, what we say to others. So we need to be very careful, and mainly in these times of crisis, on how we do it, what we do, and what is the impact that what I'm doing and what I'm saying has on the other side. What can we do to that? What can we do to strengthen your personal brand? Because everyone has, I will not say has a brand, everyone lives a brand. But the problem is that not everyone knows what is the mark, what is the brand people, when they look to you, what they see. Probably are the words that you write, that you wrote, but probably are others. So we need to be very, very, very knowledgeable about us in order to align things and not to break trust. We live, and mostly in these times too, we live in what I call the trust economy. And not only me, other people call the trust economy. So we need to understand how trust is created, how trust is maintained, how trust is broken. And I bring to you this slide. This is not my model, of course, is a model of the RENA consultants that I work with. And they say that based on their investigation research on 30 years around trust, they found out that we create, maintain, and break trust in 3 dimensions. Trust of character. And what do we mean by trust of character? Well, we mean that sometimes we are not showing what we really are. We are showing another thing, mainly basically because we sometimes want to please someone, or probably we want to not to please someone too, but we want to create an image on other people's mind, and sometimes that image is not aligned what we really are. And probably in a matter of weeks, days, sometimes hours, sometimes years, that person will say, well, this person is not trustworthy because she does not practice what she says. And trust of character is basically keep what we say. So be consistent on what we say. If we say that we are going to produce a report and send the report to our customer next morning, we need to do that. And probably we need to do that in early morning and not late morning. The second dimension of trust is trust of communication. And trust of communication, we all know that we lie, right? Everyone lies. And the one that say, oh, I don't lie, is lying. Because we lie. We lie initially to ourselves, and then we lie to others. And sometimes we say, well, this is a white lie. There was no impact. Yes, it is. Yes, it has. Because if we continuously do something that is very small, it will have a big impact later on. So all of these 3 dimensions, they are reciprocal, but they also are created incrementally, which means that, well, if I failed to finish my report on time, and I deliver the report the 2 days after, 1, 2, 3 times, what will happen to the perception that the other person has from me? They will not trust me. They will say, well, the 4th time that Nelson will present the report, it will be late for sure, right? So we need to not only speak in good will, but also speak with good purpose, which means we are not we need to look to people and say what we think, because the truth is the base of everything that we do. Trust is the base of the business, is base of any kind of relationship that we create when we are interacting, and we want to keep interacting with others. So when we do things, be trustful, be trustworthy, and trust on what you are doing. And if needed, explain why you are saying that. But for example, don't say bad things about your colleagues on their backs. And that's one of the things that sometimes people do, and with jokes and everything, but they are not aware that they are creating characteristics of breaking trust, not on the person that we are saying bad things, but on the person that we are saying to. Okay. And the third dimension of trust is the trust of capability. And that means that sometimes we don't trust on other persons for a task, for example, or we don't trust that, well, the speech is going to be a perfect speech. This person already did 3 speeches, so, and one of them was good, the other ones were not, so the fourth one for sure will not be a good speech. And so I'm not going to accept the request for a speech for next session, because, well, we will have different levels of people, and we will have a lot of guests, and we don't want to have a speech that are not aligned with the pattern that we thought. So sometimes we don't delegate tasks. We don't believe on the people capabilities, but if you don't do that, what happens is that that person will not trust us too. We are not trusting them, but they are not trusting us also, okay? So this is the 3 dimensions that are used to help us create, keep or maintain, and break trust. And sometimes it's very small, some of the actions, others are huge. And I use this model. Of course, this is not only this kind of model, but there is a very complex thing around trust and the way we do it. And I wanted to share with you because it's important, related to personal brand. And in these situations, it's sometimes very easy for us to do something that are not aligned with our intentions and have a different impact. So please consider, if you are behaving correctly with other people, if you're talking with them in a correct way, and if you are trusting them to do some work, or as if they are trusting you, and if you're giving reasons for that. So how can we do something to improve the trust that people have from us? Well, first of all, understand how you are perceived. It's very important to understand how you are perceived. Why? Because you need to understand how people see you. And how can you do that? Well, it's very simple. You can, for example, in your daily life, ask someone to fill a post-it with one characteristic that you have, that when they look to you, one characteristic that describes you. The same thing that I did before, with one word, ask to your friends, to your family, to your business partners, to your clients, everyone, how, if they had to describe you in 5 words, what will be those words? And if you could do that anonymously, it will be great, because people lie. So they will say, oh, now you're a very sympathetic guy, you are funny, and they are lying, okay? Because it's normal, people lie. And even our family, they'll say, oh, I'm not going to say this guy is boring. Well, I'm going to say a good thing, because otherwise it will make some damage to his or her ego. So ask people, how do you perceive? For example, you have clients. Ask your clients, why do they business with you? And why do they didn't business with your competitors? And for sure, sometimes it will be price, but it's not all about price. It's about how you made them feel. It's about the trust that you gave them, that you are going to solve their problem no matter what. You'll be there no matter what. So ask them. Secondly, it's important to live your values. But also, before you live your values, start being authentic. And that's one of the things that people say, oh, I'm authentic. Well, sometimes you are not. And no one is 100% authentic all the time. Sometimes we need to dress our and create our character as, for example, well, I'm the boss, or I'm the client, or I'm the business partner, and we need to play a role. You don't need to play a completely different role from what you are. What you need to do is, yes, you need to play the role of boss, but you need to have the characteristics that people already found in you that are authentic to you. And of course, if you are a bad boss, that's authentic bad. But well, it's important to be authentic, right? This is one of the bases of your personal brand. Once again, you don't create a personal brand. You uncover your brand. You clarify your brand. You clarify what you are. And sometimes people say to me, Nelson, but I already know myself. No, you don't. We think we know ourselves, but it's in these times of crisis that the bad things come out when we are desperate for something and we see, well, we are not right exactly the way we thought we were. And that's important for us to, well, to be aligned to what we are. That the third thing is the one that I was talking before: live your values. Your values are your GPS. It's your values that guide you. And if you don't know them, do an exercise and stop and think what are really your values. And by the way, money is not a value. Money is a way to achieve something that probably that something you want to achieve, it's supported by a value. You might need your money, of course, everyone needs, but if the money is to buy, for example, food for your family, probably one of the core values you have is your family. And that's that you need to go to extreme situations to find out. And these are the ones, these moments, the moments of crisis is the ones sometimes where we found out that we were doing things in the wrong way, and we need to look to our values and use them to guide us. Please don't be desperate and think that things already ended. No, things are going to move on. People are going to move on, and everything is going to pass through us. Now, if we stick to our values and we look to them and we use them to guide us, I'm sure that you are going to overcome any difficulty in your life. And by the way, if your values are different from others, which is normal, and from people in your company or the company you want to work with, what will happen is that sometimes if they are completely opposite, you're going to have a conflict between you and the other person because you are you are guided by different things. The next option or need is to leverage your superpowers. And what do I mean by superpowers? Superpowers is what do you do well? One of the superpowers that we all have is the way we connect to others. Connection. The way we connect to other person is very important. Once again, the way they feel when they interact with us. But your superpower can be, well, I can do some math from memory, very complex calculations for memory. I'm good doing, for example, I'm good in programming. I'm good evaluating other people's emotions, things like that. And sometimes they are very small, but they have a huge impact on others. And in these moments, use that. Use your superpowers to serve others, because when you give, what you will receive probably will be as good or better than what you gave to them. And don't give thinking that, well, I'm going to give to receive something. Give without any expectations from the other side. I already did that many times. And believe me, I received a lot more than what I gave to people without thinking that I would receive that. Your superpower sometimes is things that are very small, things that you do well, that other people look to you and they go to you for advice, but you are not aware of. So start being aware on why people go to you, okay? And also request feedback. And we are all Toastmasters. Then we say, oh, Nelson, but we already used to ask for feedback. Well, probably yes, probably no. But sometimes people, they want to ask for feedback, but they are not willing to listen for the feedback they received. So request means ask and wait and listen actively. Because when you get feedback from someone, and if the feedback is not good, feedback from me is, I will say that feedback is the breakfast of champions. So it's if you receive feedback, you know what you are good at, and you know what you are not good at, and what you need to do to improve. If you do things constantly wrong, but no one tells you, well, you will never know what is good or if you are on track or not, right? And of course, when you receive feedback, you need to reflect. You need to digest, I will say sometimes. So sometimes I say, well, I did a lousy speech on the other day on my club, and well, some people told me that, but I already knew that. So right, I didn't. I don't need to be very concerned about it because I already knew that my speech was not very good, right? But we had also people that lied to me and say, "Whoa, that was an amazing speech. You remember the trust of communication?" Well, this person was saying something that was not correct. So, but you need to reflect. And when you reflect, and these are the times for reflection. So I'm close in my home for more than 1 month, right? So because I had a normal flu in the beginning, so I decided to stay at home, and our government say, well, please don't go outside. Also, my business, physical business, which is training and consulting, is completely stopped. So I need to use these technologies to training. And I also use this time to prepare new trainings, to adjust my technology, but to reflect on how can I do better? How can I do more to others? How can I do things that could make me feel well, but can help others on these times? And for example, this is one of the things I can do. Also, I can give training for free that I'm going to do too here in Portugal, for example, on LinkedIn. And these things are things that will not only help me improve my self-esteem, but also will help others. And once again, when I receive feedback, and usually I ask feedback on all my events, and I ask, please say what did you like, and what you could say that I could improve, or what you didn't like, because I want more than what they liked, because sometimes I already know the pattern. I need to know what can be improved, because I want to be better, not better than my competition, because I don't care about my competition. They do what they do. I want to be better than what I was before. I want to be better the next speech I'm going to do, the next training I'm going to do. And that's one of the things you need to reflect too. Don't compare with others, because there will be always someone better than you, always, here, in other country, whatever. But what you need to do is you need to do better than what you did before. And you need to compare with you, because if there is no progress on what you did, well, it's like running a marathon, running 100 meters. Imagine that you run 100 meters and you did, well, I don't know how much time it is, but let's say 5 seconds. Okay, 5 seconds, or it's your best time. You did 5 seconds, 100 meters. Second time, you are competing with other guy, whatever, doesn't matter, and you stayed in first place, but you did 6 seconds, and the other guy did more than that. And what I say is, does this first place is good for you? Yes, it is, but it's not better than the initial, the previous value, the previous metrics, because you didn't improve. You you increase, in this case, the time by 1 second. So you were not better. What means that the other guy was much more lousy than you, but you were second place for first metric. So don't compare with others, compare with yourself if you improved. And last but not least, well, not last but not least, but in this case, you need to adjust your behavior, adjust the way you do things. And in the beginning of this session, there was a sentence by Charles Darwin, and that said, well, it's not the smartest, the most intelligent person or human being that thrives in these moments. It's the one that is most adaptable to change. And you need to adjust. You don't need to adjust huge things, but adjust based on the input that you got from other people, based on the reflection you did on your behavior. Adjust to be better, because small steps in the long run or medium run will make the difference. And if you want to do big things, well, they don't have sometimes a huge impact, and sometimes you don't even know how to do it. Start small. Start small, think big. And one of the most important things when you are interacting with other persons is be present. Stay present when you are interacting with them. Be there. Present means I'm here physically and mentally hearing you, hearing what you are saying. I'm not waiting for you to stop in order for me to speak. I'm listening. I'm processing what you are saying, and I'm here with you. Persons that are present, they now doesn't mean if you need to be present physically or virtually like we are. If you are present, if you are here, if you are there, if you are not looking to another thing, looking to the TV or whatever, people will notice that because they will see your face on the screen or not, depends. But when you are present, they will feel that. And that will make a good impact on them. And in this case, last but not least, be kind. Be kind is not something that most people are used to do. Be kind is not to be nice, okay? I say, don't be mean, don't be nice, just be kind. Be kind is something that we can train. It's related to gratitude. Be grateful for being alive in these times, for example. Be grateful for your family being alive. Be grateful that, well, business is stopped for most of you probably, or almost stopped, but better times are going to come, and you need to be kind. I'm not mad with, I'm angry with people that cancel my trainings or that postpone my trainings, because I know they are going to do training with me. Probably you will adjust something, but well, we need to adjust. We need to adjust to change, and we need to embrace change. And the fastest way to embrace change is to say, well, welcome change. Let's see, how can we use these moments to leverage what we have? But when you are kind to everyone, even in the most difficult moments, is when you do and when you leave a huge impact. On bad times, on crisis, and on the most bad times that we have is where we see the good in the bad of people coming out. So be kind to everyone around you, because for sure, if they are not, they will in the future. And remember, when you are working your personal brand, this is not about you. It's about you, but it's not for you. It's about you, but it's for others. And I usually end, and I like to end my presentations with a lovely sentence that are given, and which the credits for some are Maya Angelou, but the original sentence for the guy, the original sentence is for a gentleman, a German gentleman called Karl Viewer, and it says that people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did, but they will never forget the way you made them feel. Leave a good and important impact and positive impact in everyone around you. And I guarantee you that they will remember you for the good reasons. And when things go to a new normal, different than this one, they will remember you. They will call you and they will say that I want to work with that person. I want to ask an advice to that person because I remember him or her by the good reasons. And now I was not looking to Frank's time cards because I don't have them here on my screen, but feel free to ask questions. I don't know, Frank, how much time do we have for questions?
We can give you 5 minutes, Nelson.
5 minutes, yes. Do someone has any question that you want to ask me? Let me see. I don't. I'm looking to different things here, to different screens. So if there is a question in the chat, I don't see the chat. Oh, now I see it. So any questions?
Good evening, Leon Milan. How are you?
Good evening, Alan. Oh, well, Leon.
Deeper questions or in-depth stuff, I'll contact you via Facebook. Okay, fantastic. I really appreciated what you and really, really enjoyed your presentation. Very insightful, very, very in-depth. Thank you very much.
Welcome. And if you want, I can share this presentation with these tips.
That will be fantastic. Thank you very much.
Any other questions, comments that you might want to?
Hi.
Hello, hi.
Yes, hi, it's Lorraine here.
Hi, Lorraine.
Let me just put my video on. The first exercise that you started your speech with, what was the essence of that? Were you trying to determine what brand we give on ourselves?
Well, usually when it works, basically, I will have a cloud of words of characteristics. And what happens is that there are some words that people repeat. And what the idea is to understand what the people that are in the room, what are the main characteristics they identify in 1 minute. And if they are using that, so if others, when they have to describe for you, Lorraine, if they have, I don't know which word, but imagine that you said determinated, for example, my question to you is, if you ask the same thing to others, that word will come up or not? Because if you in 1 minute, and 1 minute means that you don't have a lot of time to think about it is immediately, that if you ask the same thing, probably they will use or a similar word, a synonymous of that. But if it's completely different, and if you ask, for example, to 30 people and no one says the same thing or a synonymous of that, well, you have let's say a problem. Why? Because you are not showing in your actions, with your behavior, that you are a determined a person, right? So you need to change that. You need to start thinking, well, if I see myself like this and others see in a different way, there is a gap. So what do I need to do to show them? It's not to say, well, I'm a very determined person. No, it's to show. It's not about what you say, it's about what you do. And your brand is not about what you say on the internet, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, it's about what you do and what people feel when they interact. And they can say, yes, Lorraine is a determined person. And when they say that you are like this, these are the words that you can use to describe yourself, because these are the words that most people around you will recognize from you. And when someone say, well, I need a determined person, do you know someone? Yeah, I know Lorraine.
Okay. Thank you, Nelson.
You're welcome.
Ellen has a question, Nelson.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ellen,
sure. Great. All right. My name is Alan. I am calling from Nairobi, Kenya. I speak a bit of Portuguese, so let me give it a try. Muito boa apresentação. Parabéns. Obrigado pela boa apresentação. Let me go straight to it. And we think about Nokia. A few years ago, Nokia was a phone that you needed to have. And all of a sudden, it goes away, and the brand is not as good as the one that comes next, Samsung, with a touch screen and all that stuff. I wanted you, if you don't mind, can you make up 1 or 2 comments about how to improve or increase our value in changing times? Because you could be the best, but the best for today, but tomorrow you just want nothing. So how do we adjust to the changing times so that our values go or cut across time? We're just not relevant today, and tomorrow we're good for nothing.
Correct. Well, one of the things that Nokia didn't do was Nokia didn't adapt, and we need to adapt. We need to think that, for example, this is a time where, well, people need help, really need help. So this is a time where someone somewhere around us will need our knowledge, and we can share. By sharing, sometimes people are afraid to share. Well, for example, I didn't until now did any videos, for example, sharing my knowledge, because I use also the excuse that, well, I don't have time to write, I don't have time to do videos, but I have the knowledge. Why don't I share the knowledge? Why do I only share knowledge in specific circles like these ones, for example? Because when we share knowledge, we are showing others that we know about that subject, that we can help them. And when they start following us, they start seeing, wow, I like this, the way this person writes. I like their ideas. And when they need someone, they will ask us. Because, for example, in coaching is one of the industries that there is a lot of coach. Digital marketing, there is a lot of digital marketing companies. Of course, not everyone will work with us, and that's perfectly okay, because no one's like the same thing. Each one of you like different things. So there will people that will like us, that are people that are not going to like us, like the same way of this presentation. Someone is going to like the presentation, others, they are not going to like it, and it's perfectly okay. My focus is I need to give something to the outside world that shows that first of all, I'm still working. Second, I'm sharing my knowledge, which means that if I share this, I have a much more in my head and much more things that I can do for others. And when we are on front of things, for example, Google shares a lot of things. Many things on Google are for free. Of course, they have advertisement and all of the stuff. They gather information about us, but they give for free. And when you give for free, you want more. And you want for free, and you are able and you are willing to pay. So other companies, when there was the case of Nokia didn't adapt. Others say, well, let's launch things different. Let's launch, for example, Android, and Android is for free. People can use on their cell phone, and we are not asking for payments for something like that. So when you adapt and we start showing your value, what you do, how can you help, they will come to you. Yes, sorry.
Excuse me. You may wrap up. We have a minute.
So basically, the wrap up is be who you are, discover or rediscover yourself, rediscover the value that you can give to others, and help people. Help as much as you can. Don't think about money. Money, you will come or no. I know that sometimes we are desperate for money. Of course, it's important, but give. Share what you do. Share what you know. And people will look at you as someone that they are going to recommend, they are going to go to you, to work with you, if they see that what you have in your mind and in your products has value for them. Don't think, how can I sell more? Think on, how can I add more value to people that could work with me? How can I satisfy their needs? And one of the best things you can do is ask them. Ask them what they would need from a specialist, from a professional like you, and adjust what you have to offer to match their expectations. Because you are selling, you are persuading, and you are impacting people, not from what you think you could be do correctly, but from what they need. People will work with you based on trust and based on the way you make them feel. Make them feel better, make them feel that you are trustworthy, and things will come for sure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Nelson.
Thank you very, very, very much.
Thank you.
Most appreciated. Very insightful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our masterclass. You have had for yourself. Your brand is about you, but it's not for you. It is for others. I remember a number of business people that I have met in the past proudly announcing that I have a website now that I can show to the people. However, where is the business plan? And when you look at the website, it is about them being pleased with what they see, but the client still goes there, but do not get all the information they need. Now, let us take that away. It is about us, but for others, not for yourself.